Welcome back, everyone. Final study of the week, and what a week it's been. Let's set our intention, set our consciousness for this great light. We know we're also in an extremely powerful um, portion of Kitisa, but also with the power of Shabbat Para. Incredible light that's revealed this week, and the Zohar helps us tap into that light, and helps us awaken the true light of our soul. Today we're going to be discussing messages and dreams and prophecy and sleep. And it's really the way that our soul communicates with us. It's the way the Creator, as we'll see, is the way the Creator communicates with us. But it has to all be done with the right way. And it has to be done the right way. And the same thing when we study, we want those messages to come through. And it all begins, as we'll see from the Zohar, it all begins with our consciousness. It all begins with our state of consciousness. So we want, as these messages come through, our study, that our consciousness be open, our consciousness be in a place ready to receive this light. We're not just receiving this selfishly, but we're receiving this to reveal light to the world. We're not just learning things, but we're really asking the Creator to send the messages of our soul. So we meditate to awaken more love, with deep appreciation for the merit that we have to have access to this. We live in such a blessed time after the light of Rabbi Shimon has already been revealed. It's been 2,000 years, but it's only really been a few decades that this light is revealed for everyone in such a way. And may we have the merit to continue to help reveal it in the world. I can't stop thinking about this quote of Rav Ashlag, that he says that if he had enough money, and for those who remember, when we studied the portion of Noach, the Bereshit or Noach, I don't remember, there's a note in the Zohar that Rav Ashlag says, because of lack of funds, I have to shorten my commentary. And Rav Ashlag says that if he had enough money, the Zohar would have been 200 volumes, as opposed to what he wrote was around 20 volumes. If he had enough money, the Zohar would have been 200 volumes. Can you imagine how much, I don't know percentage-wise, but how much of his revelations he had to limit, not necessarily because the world wasn't ready, because the world didn't need it, just because he didn't have the money that he needed. And that's crazy. That's crazy to realize how what I mean. Obviously, it was how it was supposed to be, right? But in our time, we can't let that happen, right? We can't let what needs to be revealed not be revealed for something as um, fixable as not having enough money to reveal it. So it's a blessing that we get to be part of that, not only with our donations and contributions, but in our own ways of revealing the light of the Zohar. And it's, while Rav Ashlag was the tzaddik and the kabbalist and had the revelations and the prophecy and everything, it wasn't only up to him. It was also with the people that were supporting his work. The people who support the work, in a way, are more important than, we studied about this before. The netzach and hold up tiferet, right? If you don't have the legs, then you don't have the light being revealed. So the supporters of the work, as we call it, the supporters of the revelation are really are really important. So let's meditate that we have the merit to continue to support this work and take it to a completely new level. Opening our hearts with the prayer of the Ari. ריבון העולמים והאדונים, אהבה חמים וסליחות בנים לך ונך אדוני מנהלים ולבדלים וכדאו ושלחה ושקפת מתורתך ותורתך וקודש ונתת לנו בסודות תורתך הקדושה אמרנו בחיינו שעשיתי מלך חסר גדול כזה. הכן אנחנו מפנים לפניך שבניחו ותסלח לכל חטאותינו ועוונותינו ואל תהיו עוונותינו מבדילים אלינו לבניך וכן יצאו מלך אדוני עלינו לבתינו שתכונן עת לבבנו ליראתך ולבתך ותקשיב אוזנך לעיוננו ותפתח לבבינו הערה בסודות תורתך ויהיה למדין זה נחת לפניך זכר ודרך הכיח ניחוח ותציל אלינו מקודש מפני תמוכו בחינתנו ושאית נצוצים לצוצות ולך הקדושים שהאדם גילית את דבריך דבר למה זכותם וזכות אבותם וזכות אבותם ותמומתם וקדושתם יעמוד לנו לבקשה בדברים אלו ובזכותם תראינו מה שעמדים כמאמר אם זמירות ישראל גם להביט ונפעל מתוכתך כי אדוני ייתן חוכמה מפיו דעת ותבונה יגאלו צונים לפי הגן לפניך אדוני צור וגואלי. So here we go, chapter 7. And Joseph dreamed a dream. We know about Joseph's famous dreams. And here, before the Zohar is even going to go into them, first the Zohar is going to explain to us what the level of a dream is. Where does it come from? What's the source? What's the truth? Or what are the lies in a dream? And then how that affected the dynamic between Joseph and his brothers. So here we go. We begin with the fifth verse of the portion, or of this chapter. I think it's the same fifth verse of the portion. Vayechalom Yosef chalom, vayaged le'echav. Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brothers. Vayosifu od senoto. Right, we said that his brothers, they started to despise him because he would always tell on them. He would tell stories to Jacob, things that weren't true. And they created animosity between them or towards him. And then when he told them his dream, they hated him even more because of his dreams. We know Joseph's dreams. He had dreams that him and his brothers were gathering bundles of wheat in the field, and all of their bundles of wheat bowed down to his. And he saw stars and the sun and the moon, and all the stars, which represent his brothers, were bowing down to him. So they didn't like the sound of it, right? Now, by the way, we'll learn more about the dynamic between Joseph and his brothers, but Joseph was, in his brothers' eyes, because all of the brothers, all the 12 tribes were tzaddikim, they were all righteous. They thought that just like Abraham had Ishmael and Isaac, Yitzchak, one was good, one was bad, let's say, right? One was aligned with Abraham's path, and one was less aligned with Abraham's path, right? Isaac is the continuation of Abraham's path. And then they see Jacob and Esau, Isaac's children, Jacob and Esau. Jacob following in Abraham and Isaac's path, Esau not. Esau being a murderer, Esau being a thief, Esau being everything he was. So they thought Abraham had good and bad, Isaac had good and bad, Jacob must have good and bad. And they saw themselves as the good, and they saw Joseph as the bad. Joseph speaking evil speech, lies about his brothers, creating separation. Joseph, who was too obsessed with his own looks, he was young, he was vain. They thought that Joseph was the Esau and Ishmael of Jacob. They didn't understand that what was really going on. And we'll learn more about that dynamic. So this is why they could hate him, and the hatred caused, of course, them to try to kill him or want to kill him, and then eventually sell him into slavery, as we'll learn. So the Zohar begins in paragraph 82. Joseph had a dream. Rabbi Chia opens and says, remembering when we open, we're opening the gates, opening the channels, opening our heart. He quotes a verse when the Creator speaks to Aaron and Miriam about Moses' prophecy. Miriam speaks, Moses' sister, speaks Lashon Hara, evil speech about Moses, and the Creator confronts Miriam and Moses and Aaron about Moses. The Creator says, Shimuna. He says, listen to me, Shimuna Dvarai, listen to my words. If there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to him in a vision. I speak to him in a dream. Most prophecy is through vision or dream. But the Creator says about Moses, while you, normal prophets, receive a dream, you receive a vision, Moses receives mouth to mouth prophecy, meaning as it comes from the Creator, it comes out of Moses' mouth. Moses is a pure channel of that. So Rabbi Chia is now going to explain what the different levels of prophecy or messages that we can receive from above. Tachazeh, come and see. And by the way, as we're studying about prophecy and messages and dreams, we want to strengthen our ability to be channels of light, to receive those messages, to receive the guidance. Maybe we're not going to have a prophecy about what's going to happen, like one of the, Ezekiel or Jeremiah, right? That's not the prophecy we're talking about. But to be able to be guided by the light completely, that is something that we want to awaken. That is something we want to connect to. To be able to be a messenger for someone else, to be able to be at the right place at the right time, to be able to feel the direction you're supposed to go and fulfill your soul's purpose. That is what we want to awaken. So as we're studying about dreams and prophecy and direction, we want to ask the Creator to guide us and to learn what it is that we can do to increase that direction and what it is that we're doing that possibly gets in the way. The Creator set up many levels, grades and levels, one upon the other. V'chulu kaime da'adan. They all exist. They all stand one upon the other. Daga daga, one level upon the other. Da le'el min da, one above the other. V'chulu yankin ilen min ilen. Each one draws, nourishes from the one from another one. Kilkacha zelon, as according to what it should receive, according to what's appropriate. Ilen mimina v'ilen mismala. These from the right, some from the right, some from the left. V'chulu itmanan ilen al ilen, and each is v'chulu itmanan ilen al ilen kol ha'kilkayaot. Each is counted in its appropriate way, each set up as it should. So Rabbi Chia is saying that there are many, many levels, channels, filters, grades of how light flows through these different levels. Some from the right, some from the left, meaning different, as we'll see from the next paragraph, where prophecy, where dreams, where the difference between Moses' prophecy versus other prophecies, the difference between divine inspiration and prophecy. So all of these have to do with different levels that a person can connect to in that flow, in that sequence of levels that exists. Paragraph 83. Tachazeh, come and see. All the prophets of the world, we know that they're throughout the Torah, the Tanakh, there are, if I'm not mistaken, 48 prophets, and I can't remember if it's 7 or 8 prophetesses, female prophets. I don't remember if it's 7 or 8. I should, but I don't. And I think it's 48 male prophets. If someone can quickly Google that, let me know if you know. So he's saying all of those prophets receive from one level. Migo trein dagen yediyah. They all receive from one aspect, from two known levels. What are the two levels that the prophets receive? What are the levels the prophets receive from? We learned about this back in the portion of Vayeshev. Back in the portion of Vayeshev in paragraph 45, we actually went through all of this, and if you want, you can go review that. But prophecy comes through the two levels of Netzach and Hod. Specifically from the level of Netzach and Hod of Zeir and Pin. That's where prophecy comes from. And these levels, they shine, they are seen within that vision, the mirror that doesn't shine, that has no reflection. It represents the Nukva, the Malchut. Okay, 7 female prophets. Thank you, Ali. So the prophets are Well, I can't name all. Can I name all of them? Uh, Sarah, Miriam. Is it the four matriarchs? Uh, Deborah, Huldah. Um, yeah, I don't remember all the names of the prophetesses right now. It should be easy. There's only seven. But either way, so they all come through the level of Netzach and Hod down into the level of from Netzach and Zerapin down to the Nukva, into the Malchut. Dichtiv b'mareh elav vada, as it says. Uh, yes, Chana, Abigail, Yael. Is Yael a prophetess? I don't remember. Yes. Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. So it says b'mareh elav vada. The Creator says, "I make myself known through a vision." Mareh means a vision. It can also mean a mirror or an image. Maihu mareh. What does it mean? What does mareh mean? What does this vision mean? It represents, it's as we've explained, that it's a vision of all the colors that are seen within her. What does that mean? The three colors, specifically, the colors represent the different levels of revelation and the levels of white, red, and green. Those are called the colors, which represent the aspect of the three columns of Zerapin, which are Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferet. And that's what's called the Dahi Aspeklail de la Nahara. This is called the vision or the mirror that doesn't shine, the dull mirror, or the dull vision. That's related in the Malchut. Now, most prophets, the Zohar here is saying all prophets except for Moses, all I guess other 47 and all seven prophetesses, they all received through this unclear vision. They did not always have a clear vision. A lot of it was them trying to figure out, as we said, most of the prophets, when we learned this in Vayeshev, they could not stand when they received prophecy. They were overwhelmed by the revelation. They would fall to their face. They would, go through lots of different experiences. Moses, you wouldn't even notice when he was having prophecy because he was such a clear level and he was able to handle it at such a level that he was just the purest channel that could ever exist. That's why he was able to channel the Torah. That's why he had to come. That's why he came back and revealed the Zohar with Rav Shimon. Moses on a different level. Moses receives from the level of aspeklaria de nahara, the clear vision, the clear shining mirror light. That there's no obscurity. There's no limitations there. And the female prophecies, we forgot about Esther. That's right. Thank you. Sarah, Miriam, Dvorah, Chana, Avigail, Huldah, and Esther. Thank you. Okay. And then, so that's prophecy, Moses, and the regular prophets. And then the verse says, or the prophecy can come through a vision or a dream. Dahu chad mishitin minvua. A dream is 1/60th of prophecy. Just like sleep is 1/60th of death, a dream is 1/60th of prophecy. Kamado, as we've explained, Deihu daga shtita me'ahu daga nivua. Because this is, and we learned this in the portion of Vayetze, paragraph 45, that the dreams are the sixth level from prophecy. V'udaga de Gabriel, it's the level of the angel Gabriel, that he's responsible for these messages. De mamana al chelma, that he is responsible for dreams. V'ha'itma, and we've explained. So, if we have that, so prophecy comes from Netzach and Hod of Zerampin. Dreams come from Hod of Nukva. It's on a much, much lower level. Now, we said it's the sixth level because between the Netzach and Hod level of prophecy, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the sixth level beneath the level of prophecy. So there's the level of Yesod of Zerampin, Chesed Gvura Tifer Netzach, and Hod of Nukva. The Hod of Nukva is the sixth level beneath prophecy. And that's why it's 1/60th, right? Each level having 10 levels, 10 sefirot. Paragraph 84. Tachazeh, come and see. Kol chelma de'iukid kayot. All dreams that are as they should be. Good dreams, proper dreams. Mehadaga katya, they all come from this level. Ve'adan, therefore. Leitla chelma, there is not a dream. Delight avun imei milin kidivin. They all come from this level of the angel Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, and because he is an angel, there is not a dream that is not mixed with it truth and lies, or there's not lies mixed in with the messages. As we've explained, as we've learned. Therefore, minayu kishot, some parts of dreams are true, minayu kedivan, some are lies. Velate la chelma, there is not a dream. The la it be mehai gisa. There is not a single dream that doesn't have on both these sides, both truth and lies. As the Zohar says also that there's parts of dreams that matter, parts of dreams that don't matter. There's the core message of the dream, and then there's everything that that surrounds it. Like the Zohar and Pinchas gives the example of. It's like the dreams are what hold the false things are what hold the true things together, you might say. But also here the Zohar is talking about how do we know what's real and what's not. A lot of people, they receive a lot of messages in dreams, but it's not necessarily true. It's not necessarily positive. It's not necessarily messages from the soul or from the creator. Sometimes it's just your subconscious. Sometimes it could be the wrong things. Paragraph 985. And because in the dreams there is everything, which means both truth and lies. All the dreams of this world, all dreams follow the interpretation. The verbal interpretation. And we've learned, as it says, we know that later on in this whole story of Joseph finds himself, of course, in jail for many years, for 12 years. After 10 years, he interprets the dream of Pharaoh's wine steward and baker, and he tells the wine steward, "You're going to be returned back to your position. You're going to be found innocent and returned back to your position." And the baker, you're going to be executed. So when it was true, Joseph told the wine steward, "Don't forget me. Make sure to tell Pharaoh that I'm innocent. Make sure to tell Pharaoh about me." 2 years later, finally, um, Pharaoh has a dream, and the wine steward remembers how Joseph interpreted their dream, and he told Pharaoh, the exact way he interpreted for us, that's exactly what happened. Here the Zohar is saying that it's not just what he's saying, that's actually how it works. Whoever interprets the dream, they determine how the dream will manifest, how the dream will come to be. My tama, why is that? Begin to eat bechelma ketivu ukshot. In a dream, there is both truth and lies. Umila shalta al kola, and the words are what control everything. They determine everything. Therefore, because also words, the mouth is the malchut of the head. So our words manifest. Our words create. Abracadabra, right? I create with my words. So you, with your words, actually determine the manifest the message in the dream. That's why the Zohar is teaching us to be very careful of how we interpret dreams and what we say and who we say to the dreams to. Therefore, you need a proper interpreter for dreams and a favorable, right? You want a good interpretation of dream. That's why, for those familiar, we have the hatavat chalom, the nullification or the amelioration of a dream, where a person who maybe had a distressful dream or a negative dream, or there's a negative message in the dream, you can interpret, you can change interpretation, you can change the energy in the dream. Rabbi Yehuda says, begin the chol chelma midaga d'tataihu, because all dreams come from a lower level, meaning from the angel Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, v'dibur shata alei, and speech, which was the secret of the nukva, controls him, meaning controls the angel, right? That's how, for example, how they built the Tower of Babel. They use their words to control the angels. Our words have power of control. So the words manifest and they determine the message even from the angels. Therefore, all interpretations go after, they all follow all dreams follow the interpretation of that dream. Here Rav Ashlag adds, because that's the aspect of speech, and the Nukva is called speech that controls the angel Gabriel, which we said. Paragraph 86. Patach ve'amar, he opened and said, B'chalom chezyon laila min fol ta'adama, al anashim mitnumot alei mishkav, az yigle ozen anashim uv mosaram yachtom. This is two verses from the book of Job, Eov. In a dream, a night vision, when deep sleep falls on everyone, while they slumber on their beds, then everyone's understanding is opened, and God's signature is left by disciplining them. We learn a lot about sleep and dreams just from this verse. So let's break it down. Tachazeh, come and see. When a person lies in their bed, but first, before a person goes to sleep, we should acknowledge, we should make, how do you translate this? Acknowledge the King of Heaven over him. And in Hebrew, it's a little, in the Aramaic, in Hebrew, it's a little stronger in the way that it's phrased. You have to have the heavenly kingdom you have to accept the heavenly kingdom, which means basically you're accepting the Creator and everything that the Creator does is for our best. I'm accepting the Creator as the only source of light, the only King, and this is what we do before we go to sleep. For those who are familiar with the Shema L'mitah, the bedtime Shema, a lot of it is accepting the Creator as King, being subjecting myself to the Creator's kingdom, maybe you could say. Ulvata yema chad pesuka derachamei, and then you say a verse of mercy, and there are many verses and things in the bedtime Shema that are for that purpose. V'okmu hachavaya, and the friends explained, begin the hakad ba'nashnaim, I'll say, because when a person goes to sleep, hadishvatei nafka minei, his soul leaves him, ve'az leveshatya le'ela, and his soul floats and flies up above. Every soul, according to the path that it takes, according to how it lives in this world, and it all goes in their way as we've learned. So the Kabbalists teach, the Zohar explains that when your soul leaves this body, it actually has to go to, it has a destination, but there's lots of levels and forces that try to intercept your soul. That's why the last verse we say before we go to sleep, we say, Beyadcha afkid ruchi. We tell the Creator, I deposit my soul in your hand. Hadita oti, you redeem me. Hashem kelamet, you are the Creator, the merciful, true God. Meaning, well, there's lots of forces and angels, and we learned a lot about this in Vayeshev, that are around. I want my soul to be deposited directly in the Creator's hand, to bypass all the mess that's going on. Because in that mess of angels that are trying to grab a hold of my soul, not to harm it in any way, but to sometimes feed it lies, to sometimes misguide us, a person's sleep is supposed to actually be where, as we'll see, all the direction a person receives throughout the day comes through their sleep. So if a person was attached, the Rav says, how do you know if your dream is true? How do you know what kind of message you're going to receive? How was your behavior during the day? If you were reactive, then the messages you might receive are not going to be necessarily pure. Because if you're reactive, that means that when your soul left your body, then your soul became vulnerable to negative forces that can feed lies to your soul. If you acted in the way of your soul, then you more likely be deposited in the Creator's hands, and the positive souls, positive angels will protect you from those angels of lies, and you'll be able to receive the messages that are meant for you. There's a lot more. We have to stop here because of time, but we'll continue to explain this verse next week, and we'll go more into this understanding of the messages that the soul receives, how to protect the soul, how to guarantee pure messages when you sleep. I'll just say something a little personal. For me, what changed the most after I started doing the daily Zohar and started studying the Zohar much more my dreams changed, right? Especially before going to sleep, it's very important to read the Zohar, because and then what does it mean? My dreams changed. It means that you could feel the dreams are different, and you could feel that you can receive messages in those dreams, and everything is different by doing that. So we'll learn much more about this. And over Shabbat, I would recommend to kind of read ahead a little bit, familiarize yourself with it, review what we studied, and we'll continue on Monday with paragraph 87. Important to note, for those who have a clock change, for those in the States that have a clock change, just be aware of the time change for class. It'll be different for you. We are not changing our clock here in London, in Europe, whatever. So we will still be at 6 a.m. London time. So just check what time that is for you on Monday. In 3 weeks or so, then we will change our clock here, and then we'll go back to our normal time. So just be aware of that. Lots of love to everyone. Thank you for joining. Shabbat shalom, and see you soon.